Hey guys, it's Ashley, and today's video is going to be about a group of people called the Maccabees that I see as foreshadowing a group of God-fearing people in the future. So stick with me. Friendly reminder, we're in the book of Daniel 11. I see Daniel 11 being broken apart into 5 different areas. The first part would be historic. The second part would be about a man named Antiochus who was foreshadowing the Antichrist. The third part is going to be what we're doing today, a group of people called the Maccabees, foreshadowing a God-fearing group of people in the future. The fourth part of Daniel 11, from my perspective, will be strictly the Antichrist and his religious agenda, followed by the Antichrist and his military agenda. So you can take a look at it right here if you want to take a little snapshot. It's right there. You can go ahead. All right. So let's dive into verse 32. So we left off in verse 31. We just got done talking about the abomination of desolation. So there was a past fulfillment of the abomination of desolation by a man named Antiochus, but there'll be a future abomination of desolation that Jesus talked on, and that's going to still happen. So that's kind of like where we're at. So in verse 32, it says, "Those who do wickedly against the covenant, he shall corrupt with flattery." This would be Antiochus from the past, okay? So if they would be against the covenant, against the Jewish people, against the Mosaic law, the Antichrist was for that. So it says, he will corrupt with flattery this people group. But the people who know their God shall be strong and carry out great exploits. So what this verse is saying from my perspective is Antiochus is doing that abomination of desolation. Anyone who's partnering with Antiochus, he will corrupt with flattery. And it really is corruption. He's going to build them up, but it's just actually corruption what he's doing. But there was and will be, from my perspective, a God-fearing people group that will stand up for God. So back in the day, it was called a group of people called the Maccabees. I haven't done too much research on them. I just did a little. I want to study more about them. The more I can learn about them, I know it's going to be better for me to study and potentially see what the future will look like. But, life's been very full. So I'll give you the best I can. But now you know the name Maccabees, and you could go out and study about them as well. So the Maccabees, from what I've gathered, was that group of people that stood for the temple the right way. Because remember, Antiochus sacrificed a pig on the altar to Zeus, and it was just not good. So the Maccabees were like, no, like this is not okay. And it was a small group of people. It was small. And so in the future, when the Antichrist rises up and says that he is God, in the temple of God, and he gets, the mark of the beast, the image of the beast, like all of that, I also see there's going to be a group of people that stand up and say, no, like this is not okay. And I just love that. But the people who know their God shall be strong and carry out great exploits. What's exploits? I try to look up the root meaning of this word, but the Blue Letter Bible, their server was down today. So I just went and looked it up online, and I just looked up synonyms. So exploits can mean achievements. It can mean a bold and daring feat. And that is what the Maccabees actually did. So Antiochus, at the time, had the temple and all of that, but eventually the Maccabees got the temple back. And so that was one exploit. And I just really see a God-fearing people in the future, rising up against the Antichrist. So that was verse 32. 33, "And those of the people who understand shall instruct many. Yet for many days they shall fall by sword and flame, by captivity and plundering." So again, I look at this as the Maccabees, okay? And so Barnes noted, like, this had to have been the Maccabees, instructing many. I tried to do some research and I couldn't find anything on that outside of Barnes, but I would assume the Maccabees, if they were for God and the temple and the law of Moses, I'm assuming they did instruct, but the majority of this verse could just be in the future, because that's how prophecy works. Remember, prophecy at times can have a past fulfillment, but the major fulfillment is still future. But I would assume the Maccabees did teach, but I really see verse 33 being future. I really, really do. Oh man, those with understanding will instruct many. I want to be that person. Don't you want to be that person that has understanding and then is able to teach and instruct and love? And I'm going to go over here for a second. And if you are that person, may we always do it with love. May we always do it with love. If the Lord trusts us, and Peter talks on this. Oh my gosh, I should just read it. I just read it today for my personal study. 1 Peter, I promise we'll come back. 1 Peter 5, verses 2 through 4, it tells you how to shepherd the flock. It tells you literally how to walk out. If you got people in front of you, how to do it. It's saying to shepherd them, serve as an overseer, do it willingly, do it eagerly, be an example. Don't do it by compulsion. Don't do it by dishonest gain. And don't do it by being lords over them. Like, you're not better than them. You really want to walk out love. So if you are one of those that do get to instruct many, may we do it humbly, and may we do it kindly, and may we do it in such a way where we're not puffed up. There's nothing worse than a puffed up teacher. No, thank you. All right, back to verse 33. In the past, so the end of verse 33, it says, yet for many days they shall fall by sword and flame, by captivity and plundering. So in the past, the Maccabees, it does seem to portray that it would have been the Seleucid dynasty, came up to fight the Maccabees. And again, it was a smaller group of people to my knowledge. And the Maccabees were for the law of Moses, meaning they don't fight on the Sabbath. And the Seleucid dynasty came in on a Sabbath and people died. And so that's how I believe the end of verse 33 was manifested in the past. And I also see it manifesting in the future. It's very clear that Christians will be martyred. And so we want to prepare ourselves for that in case that happens, but we don't have to be afraid of that at all. And so if you're wanting more information about martyrdom, let me know and I'll do a video. Just put it below. I've studied a little bit on it and how to be prepared for it. So if you're interested, like I said, comment. All right, so verse 34. Now, when they fall, they shall be aided with a little help, but many shall join with them by intrigue. What? How I look at this currently is, so back in the past, the Maccabees fell. And like I said, they were a smaller group of people. They did end up growing. They overtook the temple, but with little help, I believe in the past it's referring to as they were a small group. And then it says, but many shall join with intrigue. I did talk with someone the other day, and he was saying how back in the day, people joined the Maccabees, but they joined the Maccabees not from the right motive. And so that would make sense. We even see that today. People join different people groups not for the right reasons. And so how could this, be future? How could verse 34 be future? Well, Christians could be standing up for what is right. And there could be people that we really don't get as much help as we should actually be getting. And then for whatever reason, it seems so odd, but could people join the Christians as with intrigue? I mean, could people be joining the Christian group out of a wrong motive? I mean, it happened with the Maccabees. I did read somewhere where people were realizing that the Maccabees were going to win, so people wanted to join them. I also heard that there was people who joined the Maccabees. They were really on the Seleucid dynasty's side, but they joined just to be sneaky. So again, that's why history is important, because if we could study what it was like in the past, it could point us to what it looks like in the future. But with the Antichrist ruling and the martyrdom taking place, I don't know if people are going to join the Christians out of intrigue. I don't know. What do you think? Kind of let me know. Okay, and friendly reminder, intrigue is not good. I don't see this as a good intrigue. Intrigue can be good, like, oh, I'm intrigued, tell me more. But I don't see this word intrigue as a good thing. I see this as bad. Remember, we talked about it means fine promises or smoothness. Oh, I didn't talk about that at this video. It was the other video. But yeah, it's not good. All right, anyways, we'll go on. We're almost done. Verse 35. And some of those of understanding shall fall, to refine them, purify them, and make them white until the time of the end, because it is still for the appointed time. All right, so back to the martyrdom. So how I look at it from the past was the Maccabees did fall. Like I said, they were martyred. But remember, there were some people who joined their group by intrigue, joined their group not out of pure motives. And I believe what happened was when some of the Maccabees did die, they were martyred, they were killed. I think it did do something to some of the people who joined the Maccabees out of not good intentions. I also just believe overall, it did purify and it did move people's hearts when the Maccabees were martyred as well, even outside of people that came, that you know, we had people that came in not with pure motives. Even if you did not come in with unpure motives and you were just overall just a normal person, I think their martyrdom did something in their hearts, and it refined them and purified them. I do see this for the future for sure. I do believe that when martyrdom takes place in the future, I really do believe it's going to stir things up in people. I mean, we see it now, do we not? I mean, we've all have heard about, a Christian dying, and then at their funeral, like the salvation message was given and people came to the Lord. That's part of refining and purifying people. I mean, it happens now to a degree, but I believe in the future when martyrdom takes place, it will do something for people. Even people with impure motives, I think for people who are just maybe normal, it'll do something. It'll refine people. So there you go. That's a summary of verses, 32 through 35, which is a couple verses on the Maccabees and then that future God-fearing group of people. Okay, guys. Blessings.